You're listening to The Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. Real stories, powerful insights, and weekly inspiration to help you rise above life's challenges. Let's lift off with Dr. Lawrence Chatters on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Lincoln, Nebraska, what's going on? It's Dr. Lawrence Chatters, and you are listening to The Law of Lift. And you know what that means? That means that today I have another inspirational guest on my show, somebody who has experienced some adversity over the course of their life, and somebody who I believe is just an overall inspirational person. And, I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. I've been thinking this last week as we get here toward the end of the year that there's just so much to be thankful for during the holiday seasons. There's a lot of things that are going on that as the year comes to a close, you just get into this really reflective mode, right? Thinking about all the wonderful things. And I'm really grateful for this show. I started it back in July of 2025. And, I've just been able to interview so many great people on this show and bring some really interesting and compelling people that have compelling stories. And my guest today is no different. And so, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I introduce to you Mr. Avery Anderson Bear. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, Dr. Chatters.
That's good.
Thanks for having me.
That's good. That's good. Listen. The first thing I always do on my show is I give flowers. And so I'm going to give you some flowers here. If you're watching on the stream, there's no flowers in here, but these are metaphorical flowers. These are flowers of perspective, flowers of just what I've seen from you over the years. And I want to tell you while you're here on my show, I met Avery back when he was a student athlete at the University of Nebraska, Lincoln, and he was playing football there. And one of the things I quickly noticed about him is that every time I saw him, and I ran into him quite a bit, walking through the halls and different things like that. He just had this smile on his face and a really positive disposition. That's not common for a lot of football players, first and foremost. But what was really awesome is that I thought to myself when I first met him, gosh, I really would like to get to know that guy. He seems like a really easygoing, laid back kind of person. And so as we got the chance to start to get to know each other and everything, what I quickly realized is that what I saw, they say, don't judge a book by its cover. His cover was this really awesome, positive cover. And I was right in judging him by that, because as I got to know him better, that's the kind of person he is. That's the kind of person he is. And I got to know him better and understand just his background and his upbringing and all these different things that started loading into the equation. And I have just always been impressed by this young man right here. He's just been about his business. He's a very disciplined person. He's detail oriented. He just has this view of the way he wants his life to be, and he's courageously gone in that direction. I've known him since he was younger. We'll talk about some of the other family connections and everything else about kind of really understanding his foundational components, because I knew some people in his life before I met him. But Avery, I've just always been so impressed by your ability to focus on things, overcome the challenges that are put before you, and in the grand scheme of it, just being a really easygoing, laid back person.
Well, thank you. I did my homework before I hopped on the show. So, and I watched your episode with T. Ferg.
Yeah.
Teammate of mine, really good. And he had a good point, but it's sometimes when you're receiving the flowers, you kind of like, it's a good reflection point, like you just said. And I want to give you your flowers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I don't know, but I really got to. I know for me, like all the things you said, I've always tried to be positive. I always try to put that energy into the world of that, just being hopeful and striving for greatness and being the best you can each and every day. And mentors have really done that for me. And that's what you've been for me. I appreciate all the time that we spent getting to grow this relationship, reconnecting a couple of years ago. We have a monthly coffee that kind of sprung this whole thing together, but that's not unique to me. I know you're doing this with a lot of folks, helping a lot of young professionals and other folks really grow. So I want to give you your flowers for everything you do. And, we don't miss it. We really appreciate it. So as I reflect on our relationship and appreciate
No,
what you're doing.
Man, that's great to hear. And what I will tell you is that, as much as I would really want to mentor a wide range of people, there's only a certain amount of people that I do find the time to get a chance to connect with. And you're one of them, because I have just been so inspired by your positivity and the things that you're trying to accomplish in your life, and just seeing the energy that you bring to the spaces that you're in. It's really hopeful for me. You bring me hope and really inspire me in so many ways. And so thank you for those flowers. I will acknowledge and appreciate those. And again, just wanted to reflect to you that watching young men like yourself go through life and take on things one thing at a time, deal with some of the unique challenges that come up with just work and school and stretching yourself in all these different ways. And we'll talk more about your story here in a second. That brings me a lot of positive energy. It's very rewarding for me. And I'm really hopeful that when you have the opportunity to, that you would also return that favor to another young man that you meet, a few years down the road.
Yep.
And I know you will, because you bring that energy to the space. So thank you for those flowers. I appreciate them. And I appreciate you also giving your perspective on what it's like to receive them. Right. And so the first thing I always do on my show is I actually ask somebody about their name. So tell us about where the name Avery came from. Cause we're going to talk a little more about the name. I just need to know, where did Avery come from? How did you get that name?
It's a good question. So, I know Avery, in a like spiritual, like lens, it means like wise or like counselor, depending on where you look. I don't know if it's all that deep. My folks, my mom, was obviously making the decision. My dad didn't have much say. And I know they bounced around. Like I had Kai and a couple of others, but they landed on Avery, and it was a good fit. And, we talked before, my little sister's name is Asia. So we've become the A team.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's what it came through. And then it's funny that Avery means wise or something, because I get a lot of jokes that I pretend to be wise between all my family. So I think it ironically fits.
That's awesome. So what was it like growing up with that name for you throughout the different places that you lived and everything? Like, was it ever something that, did you ever have any nicknames or anything? Or was it just something that, people always basically referred to you as Avery all through growing up?
Growing up, so, we'll get into it, but, athletics, huge part of my life. So, if you're an athlete, you get a nickname. it automatically, nobody wants to yell Avery. So, growing up, I had A-Train, but we're really stuck as like AV, which is just a shorter version of saying Avery, but just AV. So a lot of my close friends, they just call me AV. And then funny, we can get into it later, but my nickname through college is Billy. I'm not sure you even know.
I didn't even know about Billy. Okay.
Country Billy. That's what I used to do in college, but Billy. So a funny story just back, but when my mom would come to visit, one of the early days in Nebraska, I'm taking her to the training table. We're seeing all my friends and all that. And she keeps on hearing like people tap me, "Hey, Billy, Billy this, Billy that." And she's like, "Why are all these people calling you Billy?" I go, "Mom, that's my nickname." She goes, "I named you Avery. I like that name." I'm like, "I'm sorry, out here I'm Billy." So
that is hilarious, man.
But no, growing up it was AV,
yeah,
all the different A variations, and then it transitioned to Billy, and those are the nicknames. So you know how that stuff sticks.
I do stuff. Super random stuff, right? And then all of it's almost like a call sign, and when you're in the military, right? Like you fly, it's like no idea how you got that call sign, but that's just who you are,
that is
right?
Yep.
So that's awesome. So you talk a little bit about your name growing up. Sports, of course, is going to be a major part of our conversation today, and just learning more about you and really your life and some of the things that have driven you. Tell us about where you were born and about those early years.
Yes, sir. So I'm from a military family. So we never lived anywhere longer than 4 years growing up. Mm-hmm. So the first 11 years of my life, we lived overseas, Japan, England, briefly California. But we lived everywhere, Colorado, Arizona, Nebraska now, Illinois. So, but I was born in Colorado, conveniently, was there for just, a drop in time. We moved all over, went to high school in Colorado. So I consider Colorado home. That's what I call home to me.
Okay.
All my boys from high school call me a fake Colorado kid. I consider that home. And then my wife and I, we were actually just doing this the other day. Nebraska is the place I've lived the longest. If you
at this point.
At this point. So Nebraska's home number 2, and we love it here. So
That's awesome. So, that's one of the first things that I realized that Avery and I had in common is just that military background. Because, I grew up military as well. And as soon as you usually say that to somebody, if they're military too, they understand instantly that it's kind of hard to consider what's home, right? Because home for you or where you graduated from may not even be where your parents are anymore, right?
100%.
Right. And so then there's these other distinctions where, you might have been somewhere for 4 years. So you kind of had some friends, but at the same time, after you left, like everybody went their own separate ways and you don't really know anybody from there anymore. There's all these different distinctions military wise. And so, you talked about Germany, or not Germany. You talked about Japan. You talked about England, right? You did talk about Germany, right?
Yeah. Well, we'll get to Germany later. I lived in Germany, my wife and I, in 2022.
That's right, but not military, right?
Yeah,
but
you got the Germany connection,
yeah. There's another connection there.
The plot thickens. It's everywhere.
It does. So tell me about growing up as a military kid and what branch your parents were in, and kind of how that influenced just your upbringing and how you see the world.
Yeah. So, my dad was 21 years active duty Air Force. So all over, retired command chief, just great, service. So just amazing part of my upbringing. So I grew up in a pretty disciplined household, you can imagine. So, it's make your bed when you wake up in the morning.
Yes.
Pick up my sister, had all my responsibilities, all my chores, all the things I had to fall in line with. But, that discipline really came back later in my life and has helped me out a lot in my life. But, growing up in that and, as a military brat, it's different. You're living on base, especially when you're overseas.
Yes.
And just some of those different responsibilities you have. Parents, my dad going on deployment a couple times, so being the man of the house and stepping up and doing those type of things. But there's such fond memories looking back, and we're so thankful for anybody who's served our country and all that. But being a part of that community is really special, and something I really hold near.
Yeah, that's awesome. One of the things that is really evident to me that's different about being in the military is just that, this connection to other people who are in those spaces when you're there, and the fact that you are bonded by the fact that you're outside of the United States, you're in this other country, right? In some cases, as you said, you're living on base. And so for people who don't really understand what that's all about, of course, that means you're living in a protected space that you have to essentially, you have to enter the base. Like you can't just be essentially like over in Japan, you can't just be a Japanese native and just roll onto the base. You have to have a purpose to be there, and you have to, show a credential. Back then when we were growing up, I think you had a sticker on your car, right?
Well,
so,
yeah, we sticker and then the IDs.
Then you show your ID.
Yes. Sticker to get you through the first level.
And then you have to
show your ID.
Yeah. And Avery's much younger than me, so I was kind of going through some of those different things in the like later 80s and early 90s. But I think unfortunately the threat assessment and situation in our country really changed around 2001. And so I think a lot of these bases where it used to be, okay, I see a sticker on your car, I'm going to go ahead and salute you in, or whatever the case might be. Then you had to show your ID. Then there's all these barricades at the base, right? When you drive in, you have to kind of take that back. People don't understand that these bases house very important things for the United States and other countries. And if there were potentially terrorists that wanted to try to get in, they need to be able to slow them down and stop them. And there's just a heightened level of awareness of security and purpose when you have an ID. And people out there don't even know what an ID is. An identification card, you usually get one. When I was growing up, you got one when you were 10.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay, yeah. So right. But before that, you're just a kid, and then once you have your ID, literally you have this government issued document that has your father or whoever the main person is that's serving in the military's social security number on it, right? Yep. And it's crazy because folks out there, you don't know what it's like to walk around with your parents' social security number on your ID, because that means when you happen to get in trouble, and you better have that thing so they can look at it, they're instantly reaching out to your family and saying, hey, we got your kid down here. They did this, that, or the other. We need you to come down here. Right. And there's a certain level of expectation and, of course, reputation when you're running around with your dad or mom's, whoever happens to be the person that's serving's name on your ID and everything else. There's just this higher level of expectation there.
As soon as you said that, we're going to call your dad. My heart started pumping.
Right. We all do, right?
My 10-year-old self said,
right?
Oh, please don't. Please don't. Please don't. But, I think you make an important point, but it's like you it's a good example. You're carrying your last name, and
Yeah.
that's something my pops always talk about. You're representing our family when you're out there.
Yeah.
Everybody on base knows
Yes.
who you are, what you are.
That's right.
Who your dad is, who your mom is. So you better have some home training. Someone
That's
say.
right.
But just act in accordance and follow the rules and do all the right things, because it's not going to slide. It's a high discipline era. Nobody's going to allow you to do wrong. They're going to correct you, and that's what's best for you anyway. But
yeah, and that's interesting. You mentioned just the because what it is essentially is it's pressure, it's expectation, and it's accountability, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you think about the pressure of it, it's just that your parents, your dad specifically in this situation, and my dad specifically in this situation, in the military, one of the cool things that I recognized is something that was really ingrained in me was this idea of constantly trying to get ahead and advance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like our dads were always trying to make rank. And so therefore, while we're growing up and they're, moving up the ranks or whatever the case might be, that means that they have to be better this year than they were last year. Just like anybody else who might be in the corporate space is trying to get a promotion. Our dads were going through this actual standardized process of trying to make rank. And so that involved, of course, a report that they had to have written by somebody else saying that they're great, but they also had to test, right? So they had to take these tests to kind of keep moving up in rank. And so, my dad, likely just like your dad, was always having to think about how you're going to get to that next rank, because at the top of it all is this very elusive rank in the Air Force called Chief Master Sergeant, right?
Yes, sir.
Which is I don't think people, if you don't grow up military, you don't understand the allure of E9. You don't.
In those top stripes.
Listen. You don't understand the allure of E9, of Chief Master Sergeant, and you probably remember this, having your own parking space at the commissary. Bro,
you want to hear a funny family
story?
Come on, man.
Let's go.
So let's go. My dad, when he made the rank of chief, so got the 3rd stripe, obviously awesome. And if anybody that professionally, but in my personal life, I love to joke around. I love to crack jokes, mess around with all my people. So growing up, my dad, when he was a chief, he had the parking spot, and the biggest joke was always like, we'd be trying to find a spot better than the chief spot, because you might get one on the side that might be a little bit closer.
That's right.
So the joke was to not use it. Like we'd be pulling up, and I'm like, I don't know, that one right there is looking kind of good. And my dad was like, but it don't matter. We're always get onto that spot.
Yeah,
we always give a hard time. We're like, I don't know. That's why I was like, look, my legs were hurting every time we used it. We had to walk across a couple. So
you're like, that chief spot is a little far. I
was like, I don't know about this spot, man. We might have to go over there. So
that's so awesome. So you guys out there, we've kind of right now, we're just reminiscing a little bit, because you have to understand when you grow up military, there's just these things that happen internally for these families of dependents or dependents of the people who are in the military and serving, that there's just an intricacy of it all, right? Like you go to another place where people didn't grow up on a base or experiencing any of those things. They don't understand any of that, right? So these are some of the things that I pretty instantly started realizing about Avery that we had in common, is just we kind of understood that, and understood the importance of how much our behavior impacted our families, right? And I think for a lot of young people out there, and you're kind of working with young kids, and there's a disconnect between what's happening at school and what's happening at home. And there's a disconnect with what's happening in the community and what's happening at home. And the parents aren't necessarily able to be in many cases present enough that teacher knows this is whose kid that is, or that kid is in a space where the people in that space have a connection to their parents and there's an accountability there. This is half the problem in a lot of the young people who unfortunately go down the wrong path, is just they don't have that ability to have that accountability around them, and to have that feeling and that pressure of expectation that my behavior is going to directly impact my family, and that's not in any way, shape, or form acceptable, right?
Sure.
Especially if I do the wrong thing. Now, you do the right thing, that also kind of gets back, right? Which is great, right? You do the right thing, you're successful, you do everything you're supposed to. That's wonderful from an accountability perspective. But oftentimes what I found when working with troubled youth and people who have been unfortunately underserved and underprivileged and so on and so forth. It's just that they don't have that family unit that fully can support them, be there for them, provide them with all the different supports that they need. So talk about your family growing up and how much of a support they were, because one of the things I remember from my military upbringing was that if nothing else, when you moved to a new base, you had your family,
Yes,
right?
sir.
That was that foundation that you carried with you everywhere you went. So tell us a little bit about what it was like for you, kind of having your family as that foundation and that touch point that stayed consistent throughout.
Well, it was everything. You just said if you move every 4 years, you have a constant. And it's your family. It's that unit right there. And I was so blessed, so fortunate to be from, my parents, my mom, my dad, my little sister. So much love in the home, so much discipline in the home, so much just love. No other word for it. But
Yeah.
I grew up and you just see it modeled. We talked about just those small microcosms, things you learn growing up. I remember sitting in my dad's office when he's trying to make rank and eating pizza and doing my homework on the floor, and those are stuff that just stick with you. Like, okay, that's work ethic. But I saw all the ways my mom sacrificed for my family, all the ways she, put her personal things aside to put me and my sister first, and all those different things. So, I mean, that love in the house, it really made me feel like I had no excuses, man. I had to love my family. I had support. I had mentors all throughout my life, and we can get into that. But you're another great example. I've had people pour into me ever since I was a little kid. So, I mean, I'm so fortunate to have that, and keep me on the right path and correct me when I'm going wrong and encouraging me when I'm doing well or doing the right thing. So that family, I can't say enough about my family, how much I love them and how critical they were in those times, and being my rock.
Yeah. And again, being in different countries and going through the challenges of moving, you all, like, when you're young and you're trying to find who you are as a person and establish yourself, kind of go through this identity process, identity development, and then you get to make a couple friends, and then all of a sudden your family's like, okay, we're moving. And then they pick everything up, and then you move to a new place, and then you start over again. That's not easy, right? And so, but when you do have a really solid foundation as far as a really great family who can be there, and I can remember, especially in those early days, when you moved to base and you'd be in like temporary living quarters. We call it TLQ back then, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Yes,
so
sir.
some of these acronyms we'll start throwing out there. You're in those temporary living quarters, and you're just kind of like, okay, when's our house going to be ready? And then you get there and there's nothing in there, and then you have to wait for your stuff to get there. I mean, there's just so many like really high quality times that you just spend with your family, in your heart, just like you mentioned, your mom being so strong and having to really hold things together while your dad just is called by the United States government to be there whenever they want him to be.
Yes, sir.
Right. Yep. And your mom is, and my mom too was really that glue of, like you said, putting her personal stuff aside. Like, my mom just had to go with my dad. I mean, she didn't have an opportunity to really grow and develop in a profession the way that she might have wanted to, because she was following him everywhere that he went. Right.
Yes, sir.
So it's just, you kind of experience those types of things, but that foundational love, and I'm glad that you called it love, because that's what it is. It's just, it's a do what needs to be done so that the goal can be accomplished. Right. And we know that every time our dads made rank, they got paid a little more. Right. And that was going to help the family. And every time they were called to move and they were put in those situations where they had to potentially move, that was because likely they were seen as an up and coming person who was going to do something special. Right. So you move so often, especially as you start getting higher in those ranks. And then, you get to that place where they're like, well, you need to go to this other place because you have a set of skills that we need there. Right. And I really appreciate you bringing into the space, watching your dad study for those tests and just seeing him prepare, being in the office late. I have some of those memories too, and they're very fond memories. Good stuff. Good stuff. So tell us about where you kind of ended up while you were in middle school, and tell us about the beginning of you playing sports, and what sports did you play growing up?
Right. So we moved. So first time living in the States, we lived in Arizona, and it was 6th grade. So we made the, jump over from the pond, and, my dad's from Texas, so football's king. And I've been playing flag football. And I mean, the new generation, these kids on the, the game and all that. But I mean, I was a kid's kid. I mean, I'm on my bike. I spend all day outside. I play every single sport. I just love to play. I had too much energy. Is always smiling. So, but Arizona, we moved to Arizona, got into football and AAU, like travel basketball right away. And those were always my favorite too. So starting there, that first year of tackle football, just learning is a little bit different from flag, getting under my pads and getting to some of those lessons. But I just always had a love for it. I just love to compete. I think kind of my coin through all my athletics was, I was fast, I had some athletic ability, but I mean, I was always a tough kid.
Mm-hmm.
I always hot stove, hop up off the ground, play hard. So that's kind of my coin. And so that's kind of how the sport started. And then, going from there, going to school, and then moving on, like the sports. In high school, I moved to Colorado. So,
excellent. And we'll pick up there when you move to Colorado, right? We get back. You're listening to The Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. I have Avery Anderson Bear in the studio with me today, and it's just awesome to hear about the beginnings of his life. We'll have more after this.
The savings continue all November long at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln. They're extending their red tag sale with machines priced at invoice plus $300. That's it. No freight, no setup, no extra fees. Plus 10% off snowplow kits, 10% off fly motocross gear, and 50% off all in-stock road tires. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered all under one roof with a large selection of side-by-sides, ATVs, motorcycles, and personal watercraft at their 27th and I-80 location. They can't wait to get you set up for the holiday season.
This Black Friday, it is time to hit your goals before the new year even starts. At Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, get 40% off our next 10-week challenge, plus 6 weeks for free to kickstart your fitness journey. Start training December 1st with kickboxing, strength training, and personalized nutrition. So when our official challenge begins January 10th, you're already ahead of the game. Spots are limited. Don't wait for January to make your resolution. Start strong now. Visit fxblincoln.com or stop by one of our 2 locations at South 40th and Yankee Hill or North 70th and Vine. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping. Stronger starts here.
MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial to residential to agriculture storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post-frame building, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to mwrbuildingandfence.com.
Hi, Charlie Stone here, and it's that time of the year again. Time for the annual Happy Honda Days at Honda of Lincoln. With me on the line, Andy Goodyear, to tell us all about it.
The exciting news is we have more selection and more savings. We have over 400 new 2025 and 2026 Hondas to choose from, with a great opportunity to get year-end savings on every remaining new 2025.
Do you have some Happy Honda Day specials?
Sure do, Charlie. For example, you can lease a new 2025 Accord Sport Hybrid for just $349 a month, and we have financing from just 0% APR. We've also included over 125 pre-owned of all makes and models, and as always, our certified pre-owns are in this sale as well.
Well, maybe it's time you experience the best. The Honda of Lincoln way of doing business, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
This holiday season, give the gift of good taste with a gift card from Valentino's. During double discount days, double your discount from $5 to $10 free with a $50 gift card purchase. Valentino's handcrafted pizza has been a family favorite for generations, and our gift cards make the perfect holiday gift. And right now, during gift card double discount days, when you buy $50 in gift cards, get a $10 gift card free. Happy holidays from Valentino's.
Leaves are falling and temperatures are cooling down, but don't put your golf clubs away. Double Eagle Golf makes golf leagues and events possible year-round. Winter leagues begin on December 1st and are open for registration. Check out their deals on monthly memberships and schedule your Husker Watch parties, birthday or bachelor parties, corporate or team outings, or just a good old Saturday with the boys. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Book a tee time today or learn more at doubleeagle.golf.
Acreage owner getting ready for winter? Make it easy with John Deere compact tractors and gators from Acres Equipment. Add snow blowers, front blades, cabs, heaters, and loaders to tackle every chore. Right now, in-stock units are priced to move with competitive financing to fit your budget. Get winter ready today at acres.com. Acres Equipment, your acreage handled. Financing subject to approved credit with John Deere Financial. Not all customers qualify. See dealer for details.
Load up on meat and more this fall at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. From now through the end of November, Ferndale fresh turkeys are just $3.99 per pound and in limited stock, perfect for your holiday meals. Plus, you can stop by for lunch on Fired Up Thursday at the Mercado East or Fired Up Friday at the Mercado North. With locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha, get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
If you are a business owner, I want you to think about the amount of time you've spent worrying about safety and security. Lincoln's own experts at Diode Technologies design custom solutions for security, communication, and so much more. From automated security to secure video conferencing, their team sits down with you to get to know you and what your business needs. Manage your operations and get notified when there is suspicious activity. Save time and cut back on stress. Diode Tech always keeps you in the know. Contact them today at 402-793-5124.
Now back to the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Lincoln, Nebraska, you're back with Dr. Lawrence Chatters on the Law of Lift. I have Avery Anderson Bear in the studio with me today. Former Husker football player, currently works at the University of Nebraska, Lincoln. Just, all around great guy I've got in the studio talking with me today about his life and his beginnings and all the things that really make him who he is. So far, just a quick recap. We talked a little bit about him growing up in a military family, Air Force dad. Dependent family, moving all over the place. I mean, just growing up internationally. He's back in Arizona in 6th grade and then finds sports. And he'd kind of been playing some sports earlier on, but, really kind of the flag football side of things, the base recreation center, doing some of those things, right? I mean, man, grew up doing some of that as well. It's a good time. And what's interesting, too, about the military, and I don't think people talk enough about this, is that you are playing sports with some really good kids, because to be in the military, you have to be in good shape. Like, you have a physical that you have to do every year. So you're not playing with, chumps out there. No, you're playing with some really high level athletic young people, because traditionally in the military, you have to have a standard of physical ability. So just throwing that out there, but came back to the United States, then starts getting into some tackle football, just doing a little bit of everything. And then you moved to Colorado. What grade were you in when you moved to Colorado?
So, my family, being smart, super strategic. So they always wanted to make the moves if we could make it aligned with school. So, I'm not moving in the middle of middle school, or in military, you have intermediate school.
School. Yes.
But we moved, and it broke my heart, but right at the end of 8th grade, so I can start high school and most likely finish it in one spot. So moved to Colorado, like that summer of my 8th grade, what would be my 9th grade year. Mm-hmm. Started that journey.
And where in Colorado again?
We're in Colorado Springs.
Okay. So Peterson?
No, my dad was Air Force, so he was at the Air Force Academy.
That base. So gotcha. Okay. Okay.
So they have the base side, they have the school side. It has to be.
So there is a base side at the academy. Okay.
Yes,
gotcha.
So it has to be just area, one of the bigger bases. It's on the side of the mountain. Mm-hmm. It's a fun place to live and operate out of. But we're in the Springs. And man, I love it out there. That's home for me. So
so just, man, I'll tell you what. So the first time I was introduced to the Air Force Academy was when I was in high school and I was in junior ROTC. We would go out there every year for drill team and actually compete in a meet. And so to drive into the Air Force Academy and be an Air Force kid, by the way, and to, there's a difference, big difference. I'm not even going to get into it too much, but there's a major difference between officer and enlisted, right? Mm-hmm. You know about the difference. So, but when you drive into essentially like the home of the Air Force, like the place that develops the officers for the Air Force, there's just something so special about it. And then, not to mention, Colorado Springs Air Force Academy is one of the most beautiful campuses, I think, in the entire country, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like the chapel alone with the spires. I mean, it is just beautiful, right? And so that's where you got to grow up. That's like where your dad was. That's super awesome. I didn't really make that connection that he was stationed at the academy. That's super cool.
And we were spoiled. You know, you grow up with that sunset, sunrise off the mountains.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Living on base, you know, it's pretty common to see the deer and all the wildlife. I mean, you're on the side of the mountain, like in the forest.
Yes.
So yeah, we were spoiled, and I mean, it's really beautiful out there if you visit Colorado Springs. You
And
gotta
so-
put that on the list to go.
Yeah, absolutely. If you all are in Colorado Springs, and I'm not exactly sure how open it is to the public anymore because I know they've made some changes, but I think you can drive through there possibly.
Yeah, I know there's opportunities to drive through there,
Mhm.
like visitations where you can go and see the chapel. The chapel is super popular.
Yes.
I haven't been in a while, and when I go back, we don't really make it on base.
Yeah, no, I can
But
understand
I don't know.
that.
There has to be something you could do. It's too pretty not for the folks.
It is. And so if you have a chance to go out and check out the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs, it is just a beautiful space. It's where they train a lot of the pilots for the Air Force. You know, the stadium up there in the mountains is just gorgeous. Like,
Yep.
again, I don't know if there's a better stadium. I know Washington Stadium, University of Washington Stadium is pretty nice off the lake there and everything with the mountains in the background, Mount Rainier or whatever. But
Memorial Stadium, Lincoln, Nebraska, not too shabby.
yeah, no mountains or anything, but
No
I'm not going to hate on it. I mean, there's a mountain of people, like, but to be in the Colorado Rockies and like, look, it's beautiful. So you grow up in Colorado Springs, and tell us how your sport career, your athletics career continues to develop while you're there. And what were some of the things that you were learning from athletics while you were participating, and tell us which sports you participated in high school.
So basketball and football were always my things. Probably at that point, as a freshman, I probably leaned basketball a little bit more. I loved hoops. When I was living in Arizona, we're in the AAU travel circuit. So, and it's really good ball out there. You're playing like Mike Bibby's undergrad, but Shaq's, Yo Attitude.
Oh,
I played
wow.
for Phoenix Soldiers. So it's real intense. I mean, I love playing basketball. I still play, I'm in the rec leagues. I'm the old retired athlete.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I loved hoops. So at that point, I mean, it was really, basketball was one and football was like that close second.
Yeah.
But high school changed everything. So I was lucky enough. I went to Pine Creek, really powerhouse, good program out there.
Okay.
And just had a group of buddies that we all played together. And
Mhm.
I mean, we loved it. So all freshmen were required to play like C team.
Okay.
So I was lucky at the time. I was like, it's a little more common now, but I played like a little bit of JV. They let me travel to the varsity, but never got to play because the rule was you play C team.
I
So, I
see.
mean, such
Okay.
strong relationships. Like those group of guys, there's 6 of us that were in the group message. We talk every single day.
Mhm.
So started there, and then basically sophomore year, I started on varsity, and I was a jack of all trades. So offense, kick return, defense.
Oh, wow.
Doing
Okay.
it all. So that kind of catapulted it. Got my first offer at the end of that sophomore year from Wyoming,
Okay.
and then kind of snowballed from there. But we had a super talented team.
Mhm.
I think of those years, we had 5 or 6, 7 folks go D1.
Oh,
which is
my
out of Colorado
goodness.
Springs is pretty
Yeah.
pretty special. It's not, T. Ferguson. What did he say? He had like 20 something.
Right. That's Ed in the car. That's a
that
different
doesn't
story, right?
happen
But-
in Colorado Springs as much. So
Right.
we had a really talented,
Yeah.
really close group. But yeah, that's what kind of started the deep dive and like first love becoming football was at that time.
So in high school, then, were you also playing basketball, or you just specialized in football?
So I played basketball up to my sophomore year.
Okay.
And that sophomore season, I tweaked my MCL
Mm-hmm.
in like the early season scrimmages or like open runs.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I already started getting a couple offers for football and all that. And I was just like, it's time to specialize. And then, especially at that time,
Mhm.
and I know it's big now, but like my high school age was really when like rivals and like those 7-on-7 like circuits
Mhm.
going to Vegas was really becoming like big at that
Mhm.
point.
Mhm.
So specialized after that injury. And
I
I
see.
always loved basketball. I played in the summer, but just for Pine Creek was just football after that sophomore year.
I see. That's interesting. So talk to me about, that first offer that you received, and when you were playing football, did that ever really kind of come up as like an important part of why you were playing football?
Great question.
Getting an offer to
Right.
go to college and, scholarship, and was college even something that was really being pushed at home? Why was that an important thing for you?
Well, I mean, I think it's two things. One was, I mean, I loved playing.
Mhm.
And it sounds naive, but it was like never really thought, like I always thought I was gonna go play college football.
Mhm.
And it goes back to when I was in Arizona, I had ball boy for the high school, Centennial High School, big powerhouse
Mhm.
out in AZ. And they had, I mean, these guys were like my superheroes, but Zach Hoffmeyer, he went to Stanford, had a couple guys go to Cal. And it's just like, that's just what I thought. I always thought, it wasn't really thought. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to high school,
Mhm.
I'm play high school football, and I'm gonna go D1. Like I just never really had any other thought about
I
it.
see.
And I just always pursued it like that. So
Mhm.
when that first offer came my sophomore year, it wasn't like I was expecting it, but like I was like, everything's going according to plan. Like,
Oh,
we keep
wow.
on going, we keep on
Yeah.
fighting. And then the second part I was gonna get to is my dad was, you're gonna go to college. So it didn't matter what was going on. And if whether they were going to pay and I was going to pay them back later, but obviously I knew athletics early on was going to be a route for me, and I knew I wanted to play college. At that point, I was like, I'm going to the NFL. So I wanted to play as long as I could. So it was kind of part of the plan, and I was just, especially back then, I was so hungry, and like you said, I was a ball of energy. So I mean,
Yeah.
I had one offer, and I was like, as loyal as girls, I was like, I'll go to Wyoming. Who cares? I started getting other ones, and
Right.
started rolling from there. But,
Right.
no, it was just all part of the plan. Like always, that was the blueprint. I was gonna go. I've seen people do it before, and that was the track.
So
I was on.
you just said something there that I want to call out. You said that was a part of the blueprint. I saw somebody do it before, and
Mhm.
you talked about being at Centennial and seeing some of those guys on the team who you really looked up to get these offers and opportunities to go off to college and everything else, and the fact that your family, your dad, your mom were like, yeah, you need to go to college, right?
Mhm.
And the importance of that. And again, even if it wasn't athletics, it was going to be, hey, you're going to go to
You're gonna
college
go to
because you need
college.
to get a degree, right?
Yep.
What's so interesting is that's not necessarily everybody's experience, right?
Sure.
That they have it as a blueprint around them. And so it kind of takes me back to this discussion you were having earlier about, my family was really that foundational component, that place where I found my strength and everything else, and had something to draw from there. And just thinking about how important it is for those messages for you all listening, and you have young people in your life, how important it is for those messages to be so consistent throughout these young people's lives that they don't see any other option besides being successful,
Yeah.
and that's a beautiful thing, right? To know that had it not worked out athletically, your parents would have still found a way to get you
Yes,
there,
sir.
right? Of course, if you're thinking college, then that means that you're having to do something decent in the classroom, right?
Yes, sir.
You have to, because you can't go to college if you don't necessarily have the best grades. But knowing that was the expectation, and the way you talked about it, this is the blueprint, like ball boy, you're seeing kind of all these things happen around you. It was a part of your understanding of what was possible,
Cool.
right?
Yes, sir.
It was a part of your understanding of what was possible. And a lot of young people who don't necessarily see those options, it's because it's just not a part of their understanding of what they think is possible, right?
Well, and yeah, like, and circling back, but like that's what's, when it comes to just like that intentionality and those people that poured into me.
Yes.
I mean, you're in such debt to them. You don't really, because at the time I'm not like, this is the blueprint. Like,
Right.
I'm not thinking that. I'm just doing it
You're
and
doing it.
going, and
Yes.
I have all this support and all this love around me. And you brought up something earlier, but it's been really fun for me. It's like I've grown and kind of interact with young folks and coach people and
Mhm.
mentor folks, and see that like how blessed and lucky I was to have that in my life,
Mhm.
have those disciplines. I remember speaking to guys, and I just realized you were never taught this lesson. Like
Yep.
nobody ever told you
That's
this
right.
is how it's supposed to be done. The blueprint wasn't there. So first it made me realize how fortunate I was, and then how amazing of opportunity I have to provide that and do that for somebody else. And it's really not my work. It's just was the blueprint and what was out there for me. And
Yeah.
I think it's the way you pay it forward. Like you do right by those folks by passing on the little percentage of themselves that they gave to you, and
Yes.
making people better. So, I was really fortunate. And I just want to add just to that foundation was like, when that's not a question,
Mhm.
everything else can just come. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have the support. I have my family. I have the foundation of my faith. I have all these things that are here. So anything that comes, you know, I can take it on. I can grow. I can learn from it. I can bring it to people if I don't know what's going on. And so, no, so fortunate.
Wow.
That's the folks living out there. Yeah.
That's so awesome to hear you say you can, if you don't understand it, you can bring it to somebody who does, right? That you all is such an important part of, you know, trying to mentor young people and provide people with support, is that we go through these things in life that we don't fully understand, and we need somebody to run that by, or just say, hey, this is what I'm thinking on this. Like, have you ever experienced anything like that? Like, the larger your network is, the more likely it is that you can, you know, because here's the deal, you guys. Like, when we were growing up, we didn't have ChatGPT. Okay. We didn't have chat. You couldn't say, hey, I'm experiencing this issue in a relationship. What should I do? Well, here's 15 different, you know, opportunities for you to learn about this. And I'm going to pull some sources. Like, no, we didn't have that. Right. No, people don't understand how, like, think about, right? Like, it's just crazy. Like, any issue people have now, they can either Google, which was kind of the beginning of all that stuff to kind of pull information together. And now ChatGPT is asking you if you want a one-sheeter on how to, you know, solve the problems that happened yesterday at work, right? So there's just, what's so important is that other human beings used to be that for us, right? Sure. We would sit down with them. They'd say, hey, what's on your mind, young man, right? And you'd say, well, this happened, that happened, you know, I didn't get this and I thought I was supposed to, or whatever. And they'd actually be able to kind of like put you in check a little bit, right? Now, I understand this is the way that you see the world, but I want you to think about all these other things, right? And they're essentially connecting back to their experiences and trying to help you see it from a different perspective. Or like you said, as a mentor, working with a young person who might have had a blow up while they were playing a game or something. And then all of a sudden they're using some language and such that they shouldn't be. And you can pull them aside and say, hey, that's not the way you deal with this situation, right? So we're going to keep talking about stuff like this, but we're having a great conversation. It's the Law of Live with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. I have Avery Anderson Bear in the studio with me today, and it's just been awesome so far. More to come after this.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Don't be fooled by the typical holiday ads this year. A new car for your significant other is a dream, but not a likely reality. Why not upgrade the current car you have with a detail? This year's hot item is a gift certificate from Nebraska Auto Detail to make your car look and smell fully refreshed again. We all have clutter and we all make messes, but it doesn't have to stay like that. Give the gift of a clean car this holiday. Buy your certificate at NebraskaAutoDetail.com or call 402-601-5086 for an appointment today.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Ready, set, forward. Just announced 0% for 66 months with approved credit on all 2025 Ford F-150s at Zollner, Ford of Beatrice. Save thousands in finance charges. If your current pickup loan's 4, 5, 6% or more, trade in today and receive 0% for up to 66 months on a brand new 2025 Ford F-150 of your choice at Zollner, Ford of Beatrice, Nebraska's volume dealer with the hometown service you expect.
At Raising Cane's, we focus on being the best at one thing and getting it right every time. Which is why every chicken finger meal we serve is marinated, hand-battered, cooked to order, and made just for you. Quality isn't complicated, and our menu is proof.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Skip the line and order with our app or online.
This holiday season, bring home a tradition that tastes like celebration. Beatrice Bakery's world-famous fruitcake. baked in the heart of Nebraska with rich golden batter, real cherries, pineapple, crunchy nuts, and a splash of old-fashioned goodness. It's moist, flavorful, and crafted the same way for generations. It's the fruitcake that turns skeptics into believers. Find Beatrice Bakery fruitcake online at grandmasbakeshop.com or at your favorite retailer, and make your holidays deliciously unforgettable with the help of Beatrice Bakery's world-famous fruitcake.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Bagels and Joe is the perfect place for breakfast or lunch in December. Try one of their delicious breakfast sandwiches or grilled breakfast burritos. Don't forget to snag a gift card for stocking stuffers and bring your family in from out of town. With 4 locations in Lincoln and 1 in Seward, Bagels and Joe.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now through December 14th, enjoy USDA Choice 8-ounce New York Strip, $6.99 each, 85% lean ground beef, $4.98 per pound, all-natural boneless chicken breast, $2.48 per pound, and holiday gift boxes are available for $50. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Hungry for something real? Come to HF Crave, Lincoln's favorite spot for burgers that are anything but basic. Locally sourced Nebraska beef, hand-cut fries, and bold flavors that'll make your taste buds cheer. Whether you're craving the classics or ready to try something wild, they've got the burger that gets you. HF Crave. Fresh, local, craveable. Find them at 48th and Holdridge or order online at hfcrave.com. For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Now back to the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Lincoln, Nebraska, you're back on the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. I have a former Husker here in the studio with me today. And prior to that, though, he was in Colorado Springs. And, he was playing some football. And, I just kind of, during the break, I asked him, who were some of those really influential people that really made an impact on him in high school? And so tell us a little bit about what really set you up for college while you were in high school, and how did some people around you outside of your family pour into you to make that possible?
I'd be remiss. Like I said, outside of my family, my pops has always been my number one with all that type of stuff. But I I was really fortunate. So I had a really good connection. So Brian Dawkins Jr. was a really good buddy of mine. And we trained together. He played with, probably my closest friend. He's like my brother at this point, but yes. Eric Lee Jr.
Yes.
So
shout out to Eric Lee Jr.
Shout out to E. Lee if you're watching.
E. Lee,
so,
what's up?
So the juniors, V-Doc Jr. and E. Lee Jr., we would train together all the time. So through that, V-Doc's dad would train us. So that was a huge mentor of just showing me the process, because I was so hungry, still a hungry person, but at that time I just wanted it so bad. So to have a NFL Hall of Famer to say, this is the process. Like when you get to college day one, you need to be thinking this, you need to talk to this person. So that mentorship was huge. And especially on the football side of just, how to get out your break. And that was easy for him. But what I really took was those lessons of, how I need to prep, my mindset I need to have when I go in. And then a really close buddies, my best friend through my high school years, passed away now. I want to say Tommy Lazaro, love you, brother, up there. But he was probably the hardest working guy I've been around.
Oh, wow.
And throughout those years, him and I, it's him and I in the gym. It's him and I throwing extra after practice. So we really leaned on each other, which is like, he did it different. He went the JUCO route and then went to Northern Michigan. So those two, like Tommy just being like my road dog and everything, being my grind partner. And then B-Doc was, I mean, huge to my development and being a mentor of getting me ready for that next step into college. Because it's different. It's the big leagues there. So
yeah, absolutely.
That was huge for me.
Things change pretty rapidly once you go off to college, collegiate athletics at the Division I level. And so you talked about, these people around you who are also training right next to you. And it is interesting. And gentlemen talked about it last week. I had our city attorney, his name's Johansi Christie, who went to college and played football. And he just talked about, when you do it so long and you just do it every day, it's just kind of a way of life, right?
Yep.
So, and then eventually at some point you kind of pop out on the other side and realize that that's not normal, right?
No.
It's not normal to always have, meetings and places to be and things to do and like your schedule written out for you. And you have to be somewhere at each time. But I think the general transition to that from growing up in a military family and having all that discipline around you, right? It's about being somewhere on time and it's about being squared away and looking presentable and all those different things. And really from a reputational perspective, letting your work demonstrate who you are, right? Just kind of putting all that time and effort into your craft. And then when you go out there on game day and it's time to perform, you're not necessarily doing anything new. You're falling back to your practice, right? You're falling back to your training, right?
Yes,
so all those things. And what's really neat is when you have all those people around you who are doing the same thing. So it's like, you have a good friend and it's like, well, they understand that you can't do this on the weekends because you have all these other things to do, right? And their parents are also in that sport and that athletic space as well. So they understand all the times that you're not going to be able to do certain things because you have a responsibility, right?
Right. I mean, that's how you build that community, like around you. That's like, you have that common mission, that common understanding. I think what you're talking a lot about. So, I mean, that's special growing up. And especially when you have such a big goal in front of you, Division I football.
Yes.
It can seem daunting, but it seems simple when you break it up and you have those pieces around you. So
that's such an interesting statement you made that, when you have those steps in front of you and this is one thing I want to kind of just reiterate here is that you have to take these big, challenging accomplishments and break them down. And that's what I really love to hear when people come onto my show is I like to hear the steps, right? and for people that are out there that are trying to figure out how do I get my son, my daughter into that space where they're a pro, it's breaking it down into steps and having people all around that understand the essence of how you get there and putting people in the position to be successful. So in the second hour, we'll be talking more about this. You're listening to The Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters on 93.7 The Ticket.
The savings continue all November long at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln. They're extending their red tag sale with machines priced at invoice plus $300. That's it. No freight, no setup, no extra fees. Plus 10% off snowplow kits, 10% off fly motocross gear, and 50% off all in-stock road tires. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered all under one roof with a large selection of side-by-sides, ATVs, motorcycles, and personal watercraft at their 27th and I-80 location. They can't wait to get you set up for the holiday season.
This Black Friday, it is time to hit your goals before the new year even starts. At Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, get 40% off our next 10-week challenge, plus 6 weeks for free to kickstart your fitness journey. Start training December 1st with kickboxing, strength training, and personalized nutrition. So when our official challenge begins January 10th, you're already ahead of the game. Spots are limited. Don't wait for January to make your resolution. Start strong now. Visit fxbeatlincoln.com or stop by one of our 2 locations at South 40th and Yankee Hill or North 70th and Vine. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping. Stronger starts here.
MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial to residential to agriculture storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post-frame building, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to mwrbuildingandfence.com.
Hi, Charlie Stone here, and it's that time of the year again. Time for the annual Happy Honda Days at Honda of Lincoln. With me on the line, Andy Goodyear, to tell us all about it.
The exciting news is we have more selection and more savings. We have over 400 new 2025 and 2026 Hondas to choose from, with a great opportunity to get year-end savings on every remaining new 2025.
Do you have some Happy Honda Day specials?
Sure do, Charlie. For example, you can lease a new 2025 Accord Sport Hybrid for just $349 a month, and we have financing from just 0% APR. We've also included over 125 pre-owned of all makes and models, and as always, our certified pre-owns are in this sale as well.
Well, maybe it's time you experience the best. The Honda of Lincoln way of doing business, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
This holiday season, give the gift of good taste with a gift card from Valentino's. During double discount days, double your discount from $5 to $10 free with a $50 gift card purchase. Valentino's handcrafted pizza has been a family favorite for generations, and our gift cards make the perfect holiday gift. And right now, during gift card double discount days, when you buy $50 in gift cards, get a $10 gift card free. Happy holidays from Valentino's.
Leaves are falling and temperatures are cooling down, but don't put your golf clubs away. Double Eagle Golf makes golf leagues and events possible year-round. Winter leagues begin on December 1st and are open for registration. Check out their deals on monthly memberships and schedule your Husker Watch parties, birthday or bachelor parties, corporate or team outings, or just a good old Saturday with the boys. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Book a tee time today or learn more at doubleeagle.golf.
Acreage owner getting ready for winter? Make it easy with John Deere compact tractors and gators from Acres Equipment. Add snow blowers, front blades, cabs, heaters, and loaders to tackle every chore. Right now, in-stock units are priced to move with competitive financing to fit your budget. Get winter ready today at acres.com. Acres Equipment, your acreage handled. Financing subject to approved credit with John Deere Financial. Not all customers qualify. See dealer for details.
Load up on meat and more this fall at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. From now through the end of November, Ferndale fresh turkeys are just $3.99 per pound and in limited stock, perfect for your holiday meals. Plus, you can stop by for lunch on Fired Up Thursday at the Mercado East or Fired Up Friday at the Mercado North. With locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha, get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
If you are a business owner, I want you to think about the amount of time you've spent worrying about safety and security. Lincoln's own experts at Diode Technologies design custom solutions for security, communication, and so much more. From automated security to secure video conferencing, their team sits down with you to get to know you and what your business needs. Manage your operations and get notified when there is suspicious activity. Save time and cut back on stress. Diode Tech always keeps you in the know. Contact them today at 402-793-5124.
You're listening to The Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. Real stories, powerful insights, and weekly inspiration to help you rise above life's challenges. Let's lift off with Dr. Lawrence Chatters on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right. You're back on The Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. I have Avery Anderson-Bear in the studio with me today. And, you know, this time we've had the opportunity to spend together has not disappointed in any way, shape, or form. You know, I knew this guy since I got the opportunity to get to know him better as just a super solid person. But hearing about his background, it's like he's explaining all of the very dense bricks that are in his foundation. And those are made up of love and family and mentorship and discipline and all of these wonderful things that make up who he is and his faith. All of these things are the foundation of this young man. And so as I get to hear more about this story, it's like, wow, okay, cool. So that's how that all worked out. Well, you know, it definitely confirms the things that I believe, that when you get the opportunity, especially when you run into a lot of young people in the space of athletics, and you get to, first of all, Division I athletes are they're just a top 1%. Okay. So you have to understand that from an athletic perspective. But if you really, like me, have been around a lot of D1 athletes and you realize just how difficult it is to get into that space and have a mindset that allows you to be so disciplined that you get there, it's not by chance that you get there. And that means that there's other people that are pouring into you. There's people who have seen you, who appreciate what you're capable of doing. We have an outstanding program here at Nebraska from a football perspective. So you have to be amazing to get here in the first place, right? But then when you get to know these young people and you realize like just how much, more there is beyond just being a football player or a soccer player, a volleyball player, that's what truly is the essence of the joy for me. And so as I've gotten to know athletes over the years, yourself included, it's just neat to know the rest of the story, right? And understand how the heck did you get here? Because I see this, finished product that's in front of me, but what are all the pieces that fit together? So that's when we talked about that first hour, you all. It's just all those different connecting pieces. And we've kind of made some unique connections as far as like the military connection and just growing up, being a dependent, moving around a lot, like trying to figure out, okay, how do I make my way here? How do I make a name for myself here? Navigating the expectation and the accountability of being a military brat, all those different things. And so here we are. We've talked about your time in high school football, some of the people that, really were right there with you in the fight, and kind of getting through some of those challenging times. Tell us about kind of some of the other offers that came your way for football, and then what made you choose the Huskers?
Okay, great. I love going down this memory lane because it's such fun times and good stories. So of course Ely's gonna be part of this. So
all right.
Like I said, my best friend, he's in Denver at Valor Christian, Powerhouse, Christian McCaffrey, all those guys from that school. I'm from the Powerhouse, about like 45 minutes away. So we trained together. I was the first one to get the offer from Wyoming. Then he started getting his. But we started getting a lot of the same offers. And he's literally like, he's not like even my friend. We're like cousins at this point. So we had probably 5 or 6 of like in common offers. And the conversation got real enough that I was like, should we try to go somewhere together? And, just to have, we just said like that support or to have a family member there with you. So that came important to both of us. And obviously I think we were both going to make our own decision at the end of the day, but it was a piece of the decision. So I committed to ASU, I think my junior year. Like I said, my first time living in the States was Arizona, and it's still am. I love ASU, the biggest fan. That was my dream school. That's where I wanted to go. So they're like my 3rd or 4th offer, and I committed on the spot. I was like, let's go. This is what I wanted to do. This is the blueprint.
Wow.
So ASU was my spot, and I told I said, come on, let's do it. You got to come with me. And Ely has a bunch of Nebraska connections. So he was kind of weary. He didn't know. But
and did he also have an offer by the time you got your offer to
we
ASU?
Both had, we had ASU and Nebraska. We both
did.
So he said, I'll go with you to ASU. We'll go on a visit, but you got to come with me to Nebraska.
Gotcha.
So I go, good deal. Like this would be easy money. So went to ASU, had a ball, a great game. If you remember, it was ASU versus Wisconsin, and the game like came down to like last play of the game, and Wisconsin like tried spiking the ball, but they accidentally kneeled it.
Oh, wow.
You have to go back in the archives. And crazy game. That was the game we were at. It was awesome. So I'm like, all right, this is a wrap. He's coming.
Yeah.
But I had to stay true to my word. So a couple weeks later, we went to Nebraska, and it was different. I mean, I really fell in love with the place. Coach Pelini was here at the time, and just the transparency and the relation that I had with them and that trust. It was really, so I knew I was really at something special, and I felt it lingering. And long story short, I ultimately ended up decommitting from ASU and joining because he committed, and I committed shortly after.
Wow.
But I was considering other.
And what year was that?
My senior year, so 2014.
14, right around there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we were both early enrollees. So me, Ely, Dedrick Young, and Aaron Williams, Husker fans. If you know those names, those are my guys. But we were the early enrollees of that class. We got there in January. But that's how I ended up at Nebraska. And like I said, things are meant to be. It's supposed to happen. So, and that was, a common theme, and we'll probably get into it throughout my life when it's like, you have this plan and this is how you think it's going to go.
That's right.
But a lot of times there's other things in the works and how it's going to work out. And that was a perfect example. It was like, I always thought it was ASU. I loved it, and obviously there's a better plan out there for me, and that's how I ended up in Nebraska. And it was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. So
that's amazing. So, I mean, first and foremost, you all to be able to have such a close friend and be able to make a decision that you all are going to go to the same university. First of all, it takes so much more behind the scenes to make that possible, right? I mean, you have to both have that level of expertise in what you're doing to have interest from all these schools, right? And again, clearly you all were on the boards in Colorado big time as some of the top recruits in that state, and, you know, had opportunities coming your way and everything else. But it's just neat to hear about, you know, again, you talked about the blueprint. And this is one thing I'll point out to folks is that, as Avery just mentioned, sometimes you have no idea what's going to actually happen, but you know what you think you want to happen, right? So you get this offer from ASU, you're like, man, I've been waiting for this my whole life, right? This is it. I'm going to the place where, was that where you were the ball boy too?
No,
that was a different. Okay,
that's illegal. Can't do that.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was the ball boy at the high school,
Gotcha.
but ASU, especially like outside of Phoenix, it's not a U of A town. Like everybody wants to go to ASU.
Gotcha.
So, like, that's when I mean,
okay.
Sun Devils. I mean, that was my team.
That was the team.
That was the team. That's where
And
I wanted
so
to go. Yeah.
you're in this space and you're just like, this is for me. This is where I'm supposed to be. And then all of a sudden, it was just kind of this promise that I'll go with you, but you have to come with me. You come to Nebraska, you kind of get the chance to see all this stuff, and I'm sure there was some behind the scenes horse trading going on too with your dad, right?
Right.
And
Dr.
your
Lee,
dad and Dr.
they're doing all their
Lee,
stuff. Yep. So
You know, Nebraska sets up the students with all this other stuff, right? Because there's all these other things that are kind of outside of our thought process. And so you end up here at Nebraska, early enrollee. And, you know, honestly, what was it like for you to make that transition into college? I mean, you're here as a second semester senior. You leave your home and you come to Lincoln, Nebraska. First of all, it's cold. It's really cold, but you're used to Colorado winters. So, you know, it's not too terrible, but it's cold. So you get here, you're kind of getting involved with everything. What was it like that first year for you?
Well, I had that Arizona boy in my blood, so I was cold.
You were cold.
I wasn't in Colorado enough
right.
to get
All
used
right.
to it yet, so I was cold. Came here in January, it was freezing.
Yes.
But man, I can't express enough. Like, I just wanted it so bad. So like when we came here, I mean, it was wheels to the road. That's why I wanted to graduate early and get there early. Took summer school so I can graduate early and get here, because I really wanted just to start the process.
Yeah.
And I want to be around the old guys. I wanted to see how everything operated and, you know, get there before my peers. Like, all that was super exciting to me.
Definitely.
And, you know, it's a big decision, like leaving that back half of your senior year.
It
and
is.
your buddies.
Yes.
And, you know, there's plus and minuses of that. I've talked to some people that have come behind me and they've asked me if they should do it or not. And I gave them the real, but I mean, I don't regret it. It was awesome. But yeah, making that transition, getting here, it was cold, but there was 4 of us. And like I said, that community, we're all in those university suites together. I mean, and we had each other. And when you're imagine being the freshman, but imagine being the only 4 freshmen. So they're on us, giving us a hard time. But, you know, that love. And if you've been around those teams, especially during that time, and we actually talked to them before the started, but like the Gerald Fosters, the Trey Fosters, all those guys on the team, like really went out of their way to help us make that transition and, you know, bring us along to the things and be those big brothers. And that really helped.
That's awesome. So it's neat to hear you talk just a little bit about the importance of that mentorship on the team, because, you know, that's one of the things I think really does make a really positive culture on a team, especially a program like Nebraska, where there's guys who have been there for extended, you know, amounts of time back then, and you all are very young and just trying to figure things out, you know, which way's up. I mean, there's a change in the challenge and the rigor of the academics. There's a change in the challenge and the rigor of the physical side of things. You're far away from home for like really the first time, right? Where you're just kind of like on your own up here and going through all of these things. And, you know, to have somebody, again, this kind of concept of mentorship and support and people who are demonstrating leadership around you, showing you the ropes, essentially, those things continue to be really important. So talk to us about when you got here. Tell us about which staff was here from that perspective and who your coaches were when you got here and what position you were playing.
Okay. So this is where it gets complicated. So, I mean, there's a lot of transition, a lot of things that happen. But so half of that class, we were the last recruiting class of Pelini.
I see.
So like me, the Davis twins, a couple of those guys were the Pelini guys. The timing of it was crazy because they get fired after that Iowa game.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of us opened up our recruitment again, and we're kind of looking. And then the other half was the Riley guys.
Mm-hmm.
So to answer the question, it was the last recruiting class of Pelini, but I never got to play for him. So I came in, had Riley for 3 years, Coach Frost for the last 2.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a journey in itself. Just I opened up my recruitment, and you mentioned it earlier, and it's so important. When I opened my recruitment, I was looking at Notre Dame, Oklahoma, some really schools I was really interested in.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to my pops mentors and Gerald and some of these guys, but like I realized the coaching staff's changed, and I'm willing to meet a new staff and build a relationship. Like all those stuff what I really loved on the visit were all there. The Keiths,
yes,
the Dennis,
yes,
all that
yes,
academic
yes.
support, all that community.
Yeah.
And I was like, all that's still there. And the football, that's my part. I love football.
Yep.
So that's
Yep.
so I mean, that was a big part of it, of my retention and meeting Coach Riley, who I mean is just awesome human being. If you spend some time around Coach Riley. So that made it comfortable for me to recommit and come back here and start that transition. So
that's so what's really interesting about you kind of talking about that side of it is that, you know, I was kind of on the inside in a unique way at that time. Mm-hmm. So back in 2014, August of 2014, I think did you come in 2015? Was that the
yes,
I think
January
it was
15,
January 15, right? So
yeah,
so everything switched over. So I can remember I was working in the athletic department as a Big Ten intern, and I was actually working under one of the executives at the time who played football here, Jamie Williams. Shout out to Dr. Jamie Williams. Mm-hmm. And so I was upstairs, and I remember everything kind of going down, and, you know, it's weird. Like, and unfortunately I've experienced a few of these where there's a coaching change and there's like this odd shadow that falls over the department because there's so many people's lives that are being changed in that moment. Right. Mm-hmm. And I didn't think about it from like the recruitment side where here's this coach that recruited you, told you all this stuff, sat with your family, you came up here, met him, this, that, and the other. And then all of a sudden he's gone. Right. And then all of a sudden this new guy, Mike Riley, comes in. And just a quick story about me meeting Mike Riley for the first time. I'll never forget. I was upstairs working in kind of like the executive suite where the athletic director's office is. At the time, it was Sean Eichhorst back then. And Mike Riley and his staff were kind of like using the conference room upstairs as like a war room because they didn't really, you know, everybody's still clearing out of the downstairs, right? Like second floor where football used to be. And so I meet this guy, Mike Riley, and he walks past the office and like reaches out to shake my hand. He had a coffee in his right hand and he shook my hand with his left hand. He said, "Oh, I'm so sorry to shake your hand with my left hand. I apologize," or whatever. And I'm like, who's this guy? You know, that's the new head coach, right? Like, I'm like, wait a minute here, right? Like, so it was just like, and to see him come in and be so kind. He was always kind, by the way, like just super nice person, like easy going, like, and I saw it from that perspective. So I was automatically, I felt like from that perspective of mentorship and just being a person who was, you know, going to pour into and develop the young men on the team. I kind of saw that from the beginning with him, you know. What was it like to be on a team with him as the coach, and who was your position coach?
So I redshirted that first year, and so like I said, in high school, I was actually recruited as an athlete. So I had offers to play receiver, some to play DB. So but I knew I wanted to play defense. I loved hitting people. So when I got there that first year, I was in the cornerback room. They wanted me to gain a little bit of weight, and it's kind of like, hey, if you get big enough, we'll let you play safety. If you don't get big enough, you're gonna play corner. Was kind of the conversation.
Gotcha.
And safety was like my natural position, so I was like, I'm gonna bulk up and play safety. But that whole redshirt year, I was playing corner alongside me and Eve, the scout corners, hustling. But did that for the year. Was Coach Stu was my position coach. Love Coach Stu. Shout out Coach Stu. But by the end of that year, that redshirt freshman year, they transitioned me over to safety. And I always, like I said, like tough and smart were like my two best things.
Okay.
So it was really good having that experience at corner to know that position like the back of my hand and then learning safety. So then I was back in Coach Banker's room that following year doing safety. So those were the first 2 years. And, you know, that redshirt year is just a lot of lifting and tough days. They make it hard on you.
Yeah.
On purpose.
Yeah.
But that was a really good year for me. I needed that development, that time to put some weight on. You can believe me now, I'm not the biggest dude ever. So it was good for me. And then, I was able to get on the ground running that redshirt freshman year.
That's amazing. So that first year really was just a development year for you. You had the opportunity to really make that transition intentionally. Lots of lifting, paying attention, of course, to what's happening in the classroom and everything else. And just really like taking full advantage of this opportunity that's in front of you. Right.
Right.
And so when you think back to it, that redshirt year that you had, was there ever a time during that year that you were just kind of like, like, what am I doing this for? I want to play, like feeling like you were behind where you wanted to be? Like, tell us about that.
Yeah. So, I think there's two senses. Like when you first get there, I'm like, I'm going to be a true freshman and do all the things. And I think that's 100% right. You should have that attitude. And if you're in college athletics, you lived it. You kind of understand they do the red shirts kind of in waves through fall camp. So it's kind of like that first round of red shirts.
Yep.
They get told in the third round. So I've literally made it to that last round where I was like, oh, maybe I'll play special teams this year.
Gotcha.
Do the thing. And that's obviously what I wanted. But Coach Stu sat me down like kind of towards the latter half of fall camp and was like, okay, we're going to red shirt you. But I loved it, kind of put out the plan. And they said, we think you are a natural safety, but you have to get bigger. So take this red shirt year. It's really on you. Like, what can you do with it? And that's all I need, it was on me. So I was like, okay, I want to lift, get big and strong, learn as much as I can. So that became my mission. And then the military family. So I just knew I had a role that wasn't my number one role, but my role was to service the offense, be the best, scout team player I could be, and get strong. So that's what I really set my sights on, and getting myself ahead academically, having a strong academic year. So those kind of became my priority. And at the end of the year, like I was the scout team, special teams player of the year, and all that type of stuff. But I think my mindset was just to lean into it. Like, it's not necessarily what I wanted. Like you just said, it wasn't my plan.
Right.
But when I found myself in that situation, I was like, this will have some positive outcomes for me. So just like lean in and do it to the best of my ability, give it 100%. That was the plan.
That's awesome. And so, what I keep hearing from you and for my audience, I want you all to realize that there's going to be so many times in your life when you're challenged and you might think, okay, things didn't go my way. Right. But what I keep hearing Avery say is, I found something else to get motivated about. That didn't go well, so I found something else to get motivated about. Or, I decided that I was going to shift my energy to this area over here, and I was going to go hard in that area, because I had the ability to. And you know what? If I can't do this, then I'm going to do that. Like, you keep switching gears. And I think what's so amazing about that, you all, is that it's all about changing your mind and your perspective. You could see something, you could see being in that final wave. You could have been like, oh, I can't believe it. I made it to the final wave of red shirts, and here they are. They're going to make me do this. I thought I was going to be, no, you were like, well, I'm going to shift my attention here. I'm going to do this other thing over here. And I think you all, I want you to know that that is a possibility for everyone. Yep. If something gets in your way and you're dealing with an adversity, you can always see that as a positive challenge. Hey, you need to get bigger to play safety. Oh, okay. I'm going to get bigger to play, right? Like, I mean, you just keep thinking about how to be competitive. And I think that's one of the unique things, you all, that you need to put in your repertoire, is this idea that regardless of what is put in your way, you're going to find a way through it, and you're going to do it with motivation, and you're just going to see it as a challenge, right? I think that's really unique, and I think it's amazing when you kind of think about some of these adversities that have happened over the course of your story, whatever those might be, switching schools, a coaching change, whatever, and you're just like, okay, I'm going to take it on, right? I'm going to take it on. And so we've talked a little bit about kind of how you got that way and how you continue to be that way. But what do you think really kind of continues to fuel that competitive edge that you have, that you're always wanting to like, okay, I'm going to take this on. I'm going to dominate this thing. Like, how do you get like that?
I mean, one, I say it doesn't happen overnight. It's reps, just like anything.
Yeah.
You want to get better, practice. I bet you when these adversities came when I was in sixth grade, I didn't handle them as well as I did now.
Right.
But it's reps, and that's what I always tell folks. It's you got to build that habit. I think a lot of times in life, what I've learned is you're gonna put a goalpost out there, and it's so important to have that. But be able to know that, like, sometimes straight isn't the only way. Sometimes there's a block. You got to circle around the block and do these different things. So, but it's a muscle. And I think part of it, and how we kind of started this, was like kind of that positivity and having that spirit about you.
Yes.
That it's things are going to work out how they're supposed to. There's also work that goes in with that.
Definitely.
So I think I've always been in the camp of, if I max out, if I can control everything I can control, things will work out how they're supposed to, and hopefully it'll be positive.
Yeah.
I think that's how I've done it, but it's really practice and it's reps and believe in it. And like you said, going back, having people encouraging you and helping you along the way when it gets hard to do that, because it's not always easy.
That's right. As a matter of fact, to get to that point where you can see a challenge as an opportunity, it takes a lot of time and effort to get to that perspective, right? Because, anybody can feel as though the universe is conspiring to keep them down or whatever, right? I mean, it's kind of easy to fall into that thought process. And it's hard to get out of that sometimes. But I think when you have consistently, like you said, the repetition of, the last time something really bad happened, I kind of bounced back and I figured it out and I was able to work through that situation, and then something better was on the other side of it, right? You kind of have these life lessons that you kind of continue to learn over the process. And then all of a sudden you realize that the very thing that you're doing to overcome adversity becomes the habit, right? It's like you're just kind of going to that next thing and you're like, you know what? Again, next play, right? Like you can't be worried about what happened last play. You kind of have to focus on what's happening in the present. And one of the things I recognize about, athletes like yourself, people who have that mindset, and one of the things that is really a marker of resilience is a short memory, right? Being able to say, you know what? I'm not sure what happened, but I'm taking on this next challenge, right? And you just kind of keep going. And I think that, it's neat to hear about how you develop that and how from such a young age, kind of putting you through the circuit of playing sports, having a really good, solid family around you, paying attention in the classroom, doing all the things you needed to do, and just really focusing on being a good person led to, the man you are now. And so it's really neat to hear about that connection and all of those connections. So you talked a little bit about your college, football career. Tell us about maybe the highlight of your college football career and where you really felt like, man, this is where I felt like, gosh, all this stuff, the time, the effort, everything I put into this thing has paid off, or maybe a few of those opportunities where you felt like that.
Yeah, great. I love it. So kind of picking up right. Oh, it's perfect. That's kind of where I left off. Like, so I got out of that redshirt freshman year and was on the travel squad, played in 4 or 5 games that redshirt freshman year, some garbage time, couple special team reps, but kind of got my feet wet. And, like I said, I just loved it. But I just saw it. I was like, okay, it didn't play as much. I wasn't a starter. Obviously that was my goal, but I was like, I got these reps, I learned. And that big jump was that redshirt sophomore year.
I see.
So that was the last year that we had Riley. They unfortunately got fired at the end of that year, but that was the year I played the most. I played in every single game, special teams, was in the depth, played a little bit of nickel, but mostly special teams, but played in every single game. And that year was, it was just a blast. Like, we're all young, kind of those uppercomers, trying to sneak some reps on defense and get in the mix, but like, we're a 4-phase special teamer, running down, making tackles on kickoff, nice. All that type of stuff, just being a madman. And like I said, like, smartness, toughness was kind of my cue. So like special teams, which I found was like really good space for me to like kind of earn my stripes and go out there. So I was a 4-phase teamer. I think the highlight of that year, I had a fun little like buddy tackle with Stovall, if you remember that name, Jeremy.
Yes.
We had a good tackle together in Penn State. They had an onside kick. We played Arkansas State. I was the front line at 180, but cleared out the block, so we were able to retrieve it. But
nice.
We had some fun moments. But yeah, that was probably my favorite too from that year.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. So we'll pick up after this. You're listening to The Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. I have Avery Anderson Bear in the studio with me today, and it's just delightful to hear about his journey thus far. We'll have more right after this.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Don't be fooled by the typical holiday ads this year. A new car for your significant other is a dream, but not a likely reality. Why not upgrade the current car you have with a detail? This year's hot item is a gift certificate from Nebraska Auto Detail to make your car look and smell fully refreshed again. We all have clutter and we all make messes, but it doesn't have to stay like that. Give the gift of a clean car this holiday. Buy your certificate at NebraskaAutoDetail.com or call 402-601-5086 for an appointment today.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Ready, set, Ford just announced 0% for 66 months with approved credit on all 2025 Ford F-150s at Zollner, Fort Beatrice. Save thousands in finance charges. If your current pickup loan's 4, 5, 6% or more, trade in today and receive 0% for up to 66 months on a brand new 2025 Ford F-150 of your choice at Zollner, Fort Beatrice, Nebraska's volume dealer with the hometown service you expect.
At Raising Cane's, we focus on being the best at one thing and getting it right every time. Which is why every chicken finger meal we serve is marinated, hand-battered, cooked to order, and made just for you. Quality isn't complicated, and our menu is proof.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
Skip the line and order with our app or online.
This holiday season, bring home a tradition that tastes like celebration. Beatrice Bakery's world-famous fruitcake, baked in the heart of Nebraska with rich, golden batter, real cherries, pineapple, crunchy nuts, and a splash of old-fashioned goodness. It's moist, flavorful, and crafted the same way for generations. It's the fruitcake that turns skeptics into believers. Find Beatrice Bakery fruitcake online at grandmasbakeshop.com or at your favorite retailer, and make your holidays deliciously unforgettable with the help of Beatrice Bakery's world-famous fruitcake.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Bagels and Joe is the perfect place for breakfast or lunch in December. Try one of their delicious breakfast sandwiches or grilled breakfast burritos. Don't forget to snag a gift card for stocking stuffers and bring your family in from out of town. With 4 locations in Lincoln and 1 in Seward, Bagels and Joe.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now through December 14th, enjoy USDA Choice 8-ounce New York strips, $6.99 each, 85% lean ground beef, $4.98 per pound, all-natural boneless chicken breasts, $2.48 per pound, and holiday gift boxes are available for $50. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Hungry for something real? Come to HF Crave, Lincoln's favorite spot for burgers that are anything but basic. Locally sourced Nebraska beef, hand-cut fries, and bold flavors that'll make your taste buds cheer. Whether you're craving the classics or ready to try something wild, they've got the burger that gets you. HF Crave. Fresh, local, craveable. Find them at 48th and Holdridge or order online at hfcrave.com. For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Now back to the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right, Lincoln, Nebraska. You're back on the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. I have Avery Anderson-Bear in the studio with me today. Man, just talking some football in here. I mean, some of the stuff he's saying, honestly, I have no idea what it means. He said something about four-face something. Listen, you all, I'm not like the biggest sports guy, but what I will tell you is that I appreciate the time and effort that goes into all the things athletics, because I know it's not easy, and I know that the students that end up here at Nebraska, by the hard work and time and effort that they put in, they're here for a reason. They're here because they're excellent and they've done hard things, and so it's just so neat to hear you talk about it and just go into like the football talk about it, because again, like I said, I don't want you to have to school me here, but you talked a little bit about playing on special teams and the opportunity to, just be out there in these very important phases of the game and everything else. Talk to us about, as you're going through this career as a Husker, this is the second coaching change that you've had. I mean, again, you didn't play for Pelini, but you were kind of recruited by him. What does that do to your thought process about what you got going on when all of a sudden everything literally around you changes with a coaching change from like Riley to Scott Frost?
Right. So like you said, it is really a whole world change, but you have those constants. So you still have the academics folks, so the folks you at that time that you can lean on, but hey, your football world, which is such an important world, changes completely. So you're learning new leadership, new styles, new coaches. So it's a monster transition, and you really don't know how to attack it until it's right there in front of you, and building those relationships or learning what makes another coach tick and what they're looking for. And the coaches do a lot of that. I was on the other side, and I coach collegiately, so you have to really be real with your players and have them have understanding of the culture and what you want to build. But I mean, and this is kind of a perfect segue, but for me, this is probably like the biggest growth that I made my entire time. So that first year that Coach Frost came in, I had season-ending surgery the last week of fall camp. So ripped my shoulder apart, tore my labrum, displaced it. So it's really tough because, a new staff comes in, you want to prove yourself, you want to do all this.
Yes.
And I played that spring, had a pretty good spring, had a great summer working out, but season came and I was on wraps. So it was really challenging, but it was really good time for me to lean into my teammates, make relationships with those coaches. But that kind of relayed to the rest of my career. My senior year, I come back, kind of re-injured it, dealt with injuries kind of throughout the rest of my career, and that was kind of it. So I had like that opposite experience where I played a little bit early, and got my feet wet, but didn't really play much at the end. But like we just talked about, like that adversity and looking ahead was like, when I look back, I still had so much fond times because I gave it my all. I left there with 2 degrees and did all the things I wanted to do, built like lifelong relationships. But again, like that goal place, it kind of changed, and how I thought it was going to end, it didn't end that way.
Right.
But to kind of go back to the answer, I had a great time with Coach Frost and that staff, and appreciate their time. It was just a little challenging time for me, just which is like my health. I mean, it was pretty consistently not consistent actually during that time. So.
I see. It's interesting to kind of talk about that side of things. It's just this concept of getting injured while you're in such a competitive space, right? And how you, ultimately, this is something I felt as a psychologist, is one of the more difficult times that an athlete experiences in their career is when they're injured, because then your calling card, essentially, your physicality, all those things are called into question because you just can't do it, right? There's a period of time that you have to go and recover and rehab, and then you can present yourself again while everybody else around you is just continuing to move in that direction, right? It's like, hey, take that exit, right? You're literally on the Autobahn, right? Which you would come to know at a later point in time, right? But it's just a crazy thing to think about. All of this competition, that we've been talking about here, and all the time and effort that goes into this thing, this craft, this athletics thing, and then all of a sudden you're just taken off the board, right? But it sounds like you still persevered through that, and you were able. Again, you're like, you know what? I'm going to get another degree. You kept figuring out ways to keep moving forward, and so tell us how awesome it was to, have when you left here, you would accomplish these goals, these objectives that your family had set forth for you, that you were going to go to college, that you were going to, you were a Division I athlete, you played at the highest level, you got your degrees. What was it like to kind of be on the other side of that? And talk to us about when during your process of being and kind of some of the thinking and things that were shifting that you started to make a decision about what you were going to do after college.
Right. So the injuries kind of helped my transition. So was dealing with that. And by the time I was that last year, redshirt senior, you're kind of coming back from injury. You have a new staff in with their guys that they're bringing in. And I was I coach, so I kind of get the idea of investing in coming off an injury redshirt senior versus a freshman that you can have for multiple years. And I still gave it my all, but I probably knew that, I wasn't going to play beyond, even with like the health of my shoulder. I knew I wasn't playing beyond anyway. So, but I still love the game so much. So I knew I wanted to coach.
Yeah.
Was kind of the next thing for me.
Yeah.
So I really spent that time, like, it was crazy. Like, I didn't play as much, but I probably spent more time in the film room learning and being and helping, supporting the guys that were on there, and Ely and all those guys, and kind of being like our GA in a way. But I knew I wanted to coach and kind of gain that experience. So that was kind of the first step in that transition, because after I graduated, I got my MA, I got my master's in educational administration, and the hope was to go somewhere and hopefully bypass being a GA since I had my master's, and get into
just be a coach, right?
Just be a coach.
Yeah.
So that was part of the goal. I found myself at Wheaton College, west suburbs of Chicago. It's a Christian college. I really want to be in like an intentional Christian school and be around that. And it was a beautiful thing. So, but yeah, to answer it, that transition was pretty clear, because I knew I wasn't done with ball yet. I wanted to keep on coaching.
Yeah.
So kind of started that process a little bit early and get my mind wrapped around that. And again, lean on folks, where I wanted to land next, and kind of start that coaching career.
That's amazing that you talk about that, because to my listeners, there are these times, these points in our life when, you know what is coming next, but then the situation that's right in front of you isn't necessarily what you want it to be. And I'll give you a quick example of that. So, I transitioned into working in the chancellor's office at Nebraska after the new athletic director came in, kind of like a coaching change, if you will. It's kind of, on the administration side, things change. And, I didn't really have a specific focus that my job was supposed to be. And I took a lot of that time to just like really recover. I considered myself a recovering administrator in that. You just have to be there for every single thing, like it takes a toll on your family. It's almost like being a coach, but just being the coach of the coaches, in a way. 100%. And so you have like 3-4 teams. You have to kind of throw yourself into being there for those student athletes and those coaches and everything else. And I just took that time to really revamp and kind of think about what my next move was going to be. Just like you were injured and you were like, well, let me take full advantage of this opportunity I have in front of me, learn more about film, maybe talk to coaches more, kind of be a pseudo coach to the other players on the team, because you knew that's what you could offer in that moment. Right. And so, there's these times, you all, where things aren't necessarily going to be going your way, but you've got to find a way to make what you're going through the right time to do what you need to do.
Yes, sir.
Right. You have to find a way to make that the right time. And so as you were learning more about coaching and setting yourself up from a degree perspective, because you were getting your master's degree, right? Getting ready to walk out here with your second degree, you realized your love for coaching, and you realized the importance of having people around that could help support people who were going through things like you were going through. Right. And so you go to Wheaton and you get the opportunity to do some coaching there. Talk to us about kind of how things continue to develop after that, and how things kind of really got back into the potential of you playing football again.
Yeah. So it was crazy. So I got right into coaching. My wife played soccer here in is much better at her sport than I was at mine. So she was playing professionally. So that was kind of our life, kind of figuring it out around that. Chicago, Wheaton was our home base, and where she'd go out and play was in the NWSL. But I was at Wheaton. I was doing DBs and player development. So it was Bible study, academic liaison. And what I really learned was I loved ball. That was why I was there. But I really loved was pouring into those guys, helping them think outside of football. And I love the ball. Like I could do that all day, and I coach really hard. But I also love that developmental piece.
Absolutely.
But through that, I was there for 2 years. We were on fire. We had no really intention of leaving. But Savannah got injured, and we were free agency. So we're like, what we're going to do next? And we got a bunch of offers to play overseas. So we got an offer to play in the Bundesliga, which was a great offer, and it's in Germany. So we sat down as a family. And, we got married. So we're like, you know what? Like, let's go spend our first year of marriage over there across the pond. I lived overseas before, so it was perfect. So we lived in Dusseldorf. And then it's just funny how life works. You don't know what's next for you. So
right.
I was going over there, and I was like, what am I going to do? I could do some consulting back home with the company I knew. So I was like, I can kind of do that on the side, make a little bit of money on the side. But when I got out there, they had the GFL, so professional football out there. And before I know it, I was getting offers to play and coach and all these different things.
Wow.
And it was kind of like this, it was an amazing opportunity. I was like, this is kind of a second shot at it. And I was like, I think I have one more year. I can tape this shoulder together. Right. So so I ended up playing in the GFL. Wow. And while Savannah was out there in the Bundesliga. And I mean, it was like we call it our year-long honeymoon. So it was just like being student athletes. I'd run to practice.
Yeah.
It's European football and European soccer. So there's like summer break in the middle. We'd be like, 3-week break. Okay, we're gonna run over to Paris. We're gonna go to Brussels.
Wow.
So yeah, it was our year-long honeymoon. I got to play some ball. We had a pretty good year. I had a pretty good year played. It was like a kind of a funner way to end the football career.
Absolutely.
And, we're over there for just a little bit, just about a year, a little bit over a year. And then we came back. I continued my coaching career. She retired. Became assistant coach here at Nebraska.
Yes.
That's what kind of brought us back to Nebraska.
That's what brought you back. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So lots of twists and turns,
and
different things of how we got to where we're at. But
so wait a minute. So this is super cool. So you and your professional soccer playing wife end up in Germany. You're playing football. She's playing soccer. The Bundesliga, you guys. This is not like, this is big time, right? So, and you're playing German football. And like, first of all, like, what was it like to play for the GFL? Like, I don't know much about that. But tell me, what was that like for you?
It's really fun. It's really competitive. There's the ELF and the GFL. So the GFL is like maybe the longest, but one of the biggest, longest standing European football leagues.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all enter through Germany. There's a north and a south, really competitive football. And then there's the ELF, which is partner of the NFL, which is all of Europe. So those are kind of the two big leagues. We had a GFL team in Dusseldorf where I got a contract. So I was like, I'm not going to commute, but they're the team in the city. I got a good contract offer, so I accepted it.
Wow.
But it's high level football. It's not the NFL.
Gotcha.
But it's competitive, real football, and
and you're there. So what is the percentage of players that have to be from Germany? I guess is there a certain aspect of that, or
it's called import? So it's an import system. So,
okay.
Players from the U.S. and essentially the rule is you can have 2 imports on the field at a time, but you can have unlimited. So we had 5 imports.
Okay.
But only 2 of us could be on the field. So we have different packages. And out there, it was kind of like a flashback to high school. Like it was a little bit Travis Huntery. Like I had to play some like receiver. I played DB. I always, of course, special teams. That's my jam.
Yes.
But I played both sides of the ball a little bit, a little bit of receiver, DB. And man, it was a lot of fun. So,
wow. But and so the same rules then?
Yep, same rules.
Okay.
There's some leagues in Europe that they play like Canadian football, but the GFL and ELF, it's college football rules. So, like 1 foot on the sideline.
Gotcha.
It's not the NFL rule.
Okay.
But, so yeah, it's just like playing college football for another year. So,
wow. That's super cool. So again, you guys, here he is coaching at Wheaton College outside of Chicago, and all of a sudden moves over to Germany and is playing football again, right? Like, there's just these things that happen in life, and there's not really a reasonable explanation besides just the fact that that's just kind of a part of what that journey is going to end up being. And, you are playing professionally, you and your wife overseas. That is super cool. And what a great opportunity. And then all of a sudden this opportunity to be an assistant coach comes up at Nebraska. She's
Right.
retired, and then you all come back here
Yes, sir.
to Nebraska, and you decide to go back to coaching some more, right?
Right. So at my last year, I was up at Midland, go Warriors, Coach Jamrog, great relationship, a mentor, throughout the years, stay in contact.
Yeah.
He's the head coach over there at Midland. So he offered me a job to go over there and coach wide receivers. It was perfect because, we're moving to Nebraska. I want to continue to coach. So
Yeah.
I love my time at Fremont, coaching those guys. It was really fun to get on the other side of the ball. So coach offense, get with those wide receivers. And we had a really good year. Had a couple guys make all conference, break some records in that receiving room. And
Yeah.
it was a fun way to kind of end my coaching career because we'll probably get into it. But then I transitioned out of coaching after that year.
Yeah.
But it was awesome. And shout out to the Hog if you're watching, Coach Jamrog.
Man, Coach
Awesome
Jamrog,
person.
great
Yeah.
dude, great dude. Go Warriors. I worked at
Yep.
Midland as well as a vice president for student affairs. So we'll have a little bit more and we'll wrap things up when we come back. You're listening to The Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters, Avery Anderson Bear in the house, former GFL athlete. Wow. Okay, we'll be right back after this.
The savings continue all November long at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln. They're extending their red tag sale with machines priced at invoice plus $300. That's it. No freight, no setup, no extra fees. Plus 10% off snowplow kits, 10% off fly motocross gear, and 50% off all in-stock road tires. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered all under one roof with a large selection of side-by-sides, ATVs, motorcycles, and personal watercraft at their 27th and I-80 location. They can't wait to get you set up for the holiday season.
This Black Friday, it is time to hit your goals before the new year even starts. At Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, get 40% off our next 10-week challenge, plus 6 weeks for free to kickstart your fitness journey. Start training December 1st with kickboxing, strength training, and personalized nutrition. So when our official challenge begins January 10th, you're already ahead of the game. Spots are limited. Don't wait for January to make your resolution. Start strong now. Visit fxbeatlincoln.com or stop by one of our 2 locations at South 40th and Yankee Hill or North 70th and Vine. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping. Stronger starts here.
MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial to residential to agriculture storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post-frame building, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to mwrbuildingandfence.com.
Hi, Charlie Stone here, and it's that time of the year again. Time for the annual Happy Honda Days at Honda of Lincoln. With me on the line, Andy Goodyear, to tell us all about it.
The exciting news is we have more selection and more savings. We have over 400 new 2025 and 2026 Hondas to choose from, with a great opportunity to get year-end savings on every remaining new 2025.
Do you have some Happy Honda Day specials?
Sure do, Charlie. For example, you can lease a new 2025 Accord Sport Hybrid for just $349 a month, and we have financing from just 0% APR. We've also included over 125 pre-owned of all makes and models, and as always, our certified pre-owns are in this sale as well.
Well, maybe it's time you experience the best. The Honda of Lincoln way of doing business, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
This holiday season, give the gift of good taste with a gift card from Valentino's. During double discount days, double your discount from $5 to $10 free with a $50 gift card purchase. Valentino's handcrafted pizza has been a family favorite for generations, and our gift cards make the perfect holiday gift. And right now, during gift card double discount days, when you buy $50 in gift cards, get a $10 gift card free. Happy holidays from Valentino's.
Leaves are falling and temperatures are cooling down, but don't put your golf clubs away. Double Eagle Golf makes golf leagues and events possible year-round. Winter leagues begin on December 1st and are open for registration. Check out their deals on monthly memberships and schedule your Husker Watch parties, birthday or bachelor parties, corporate or team outings, or just a good old Saturday with the boys. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Book a tee time today or learn more at doubleeagle.golf.
Acreage owner getting ready for winter? Make it easy with John Deere compact tractors and gators from Acres Equipment. Add snow blowers, front blades, cabs, heaters, and loaders to tackle every chore. Right now, in-stock units are priced to move with competitive financing to fit your budget. Get winter ready today at acres.com. Acres Equipment, your acreage handled. Financing subject to approved credit with John Deere Financial. Not all customers qualify. See dealer for details.
Load up on meat and more this fall at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. From now through the end of November, Ferndale fresh turkeys are just $3.99 per pound and in limited stock, perfect for your holiday meals. Plus, you can stop by for lunch on Fired Up Thursday at the Mercado East or Fired Up Friday at the Mercado North. With locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha, get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
If you are a business owner, I want you to think about the amount of time you've spent worrying about safety and security. Lincoln's own experts at Diode Technologies design custom solutions for security, communication, and so much more. From automated security to secure video conferencing, their team sits down with you to get to know you and what your business needs. Manage your operations and get notified when there is suspicious activity. Save time and cut back on stress. Diode Tech always keeps you in the know. Contact them today at 402-793-5124.
Now back to the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You're listening to The Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. I have Avery Anderson Bear in the studio with me today. He's just kind of talked to us about his life in general today, and it's just been so awesome to hear his story about all the foundational things that have happened over the course of his life to help kind of create this blueprint for him to be successful. And, there's so much more still left out there for this young man. I mean, potential is unlimited, has so much energy and lots of opportunities. So, Avery, kind of as we kind of close things up here, what's next for you right now?
Right. So I'm currently working on my PhD, educational administration, higher ed, leadership. And that's the track I want to continue on. I think, end goal, I'd love to transition back to athletics in some shape or form, but the administrative side of it, helping do exactly kind of these things I've talked about, help student athletes develop off the field as well as on the field when I can, but looking into those like kind of developmental and leadership opportunities within that. So that's what a lot of my dissertation, PhD work is on. And then I work for the university in a non-athletics role currently. But that's the horizon, man. I'm really hopeful. We're expecting in February a lot of fun things happening in our lives. So we're blessed and it's a really fun time. So
that's amazing. So on the horizon, a PhD, a child, right? I mean, all these things and what a blessing there. And wow, I'm just super excited to see you as a dad. And it's just, I mean, your life changes. You and your wife's life changes when a child comes into the world, and it's changed already as a result of this child. But we've talked a little bit about just the blessing that is, and how many beautiful things are around the corner with that. But sounds like you might want to get back into doing some administration work within the athletic department, doing some essentially life skills, maybe even being an academic director or something like a Dennis LeBlanc. Shout out to Dennis. Shout out to Keith. Dennis. Man, yes, Keith. Two of the longest serving people in the athletic department who have just impacted so many young people's lives and everything. Speaking of impacting people's lives, just talk about some of the people, give them a shout out right now as we kind of finish things up here that have had an impact on your life.
Right. Well, let me start with the person right in front of me, give you some more flowers. Dr. Chatters, huge shout out to having me on the show, for this opportunity, for the mentorship that you continue to pour into me. I give a shout out to the two names you said, Keith and Dennis over there, athletics, great folks. A huge shout out to my family. I know they'll be watching this, but shout out to my little sister, Asia, my folks, my wife. And then I think just a huge shout out to all the young folks out there that are listening and are looking to continue to grow. And, I hope through this, you learn some tools and continue to listen to the show and, take these little nuggets with you about development and perseverance, because it really is a wealth of knowledge. And if I've learned anything through my short time on this circle is, you got to lean into mentors. You got to be able to listen, be able to learn, because there's a lot out there for you to learn. You'll be continue learning your entire life. So I'm thankful for the opportunity to learn and the people that keep on pouring into me, and hopefully I can do that for more folks as I move along.
Man, you're just an expert at wrapping things up pretty quickly, man. I mean, you listen, it's just been so amazing to have you on my show. And again, as I got a chance to get to know you over the years and just learn more about you, I'm so impressed and very grateful that you've had so many people over the course of your life that have been able to mentor you and support you. You all, this is what it looks like when you come from a really strong family with great faith, with great support, with love. You have the opportunity to dream big. You have the opportunity to see all these different possibilities and actually pursue them because you know that you have a great foundation and someone's going to be there to support you, right? And along the way, you get the opportunity, just like us, to meet and find people who have so much commonality with you, and it feels like you just met another family member because you realize, hey, this person cares about me. This person's willing to take time and actually talk to me about these challenging things that I'm going to face in life. And so there's all those really positive things. And I hope you all have learned a lot from Avery's story today. I continue to learn from him. I continue to be inspired by his energy, his positivity, and his outlook on life. And as I always say to you all, I hope you get the opportunity to lift off in life. You've been listening to The Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. Avery Anderson Bear here on the air. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Take care.